Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Wow. Usually. Test the chat. Okay. Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, yours now, forever. In your Son's name, our Savior, our King, Jesus Christ. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today, we're going to talk about lots of stuff, but things that you guys need to hear, and this is from Matthew 7. And this is very important. Judge not, that you be not judged. For with that judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Now, as I say this, you see the hypocrisy, of tremendous hypocrisy from the left. But remember, do not be guilty of that hypocrisy yourself. We're going to talk about the science of things. And another proof of why President Trump is no longer president. You'll notice on many occasions that the media no longer talks about and will not talk about Afghanistan. They do not talk about what's going on in Afghanistan. They do not talk about the loss of life in Afghanistan. They do not talk about the loss of rights of women in Afghanistan. They do not talk about the hangings of the LBTG, whatever, in Afghanistan. They don't talk about anything. Okay. They also do not want to discuss anything about Hunter Biden. They also do not want to discuss anything about anything that's bad, right? Pretty hard for them to do it. They try to really outright lie, no question about it. I think with the Rittenhouse case, if he's found not guilty, for those of you who don't know, he was the young man who shot those people in defense of himself. There has been outright slander, no ifs, ands, or buts, by candidate Joe Biden, which means he's not going to be protected as a president. Um, Not only that, every media outlet has been slanderous towards him and also saying pretty horrible things that are really not true. They really don't bear to the case. Um, Trump understood long on that there were other technologies available, but no matter what, they were going to take time to perfect and they were going to take time to get them logistically online. Even if they were finished underneath his watch, and one of them, I believe, technically was the Lifter 49 system and the factory that was built by Flibe. They were ready to go. And yes, it would have taken 3 to 4 years to install some 200 nuclear molten salt reactors, very small ones, size of my van, throughout the country. Specifically, immediately, I would send them to the nuclear sites that are presently running because they will run on nuclear waste and they will turn that nuclear waste harmlessly into a harmless salt. But by doing so, generate tremendous amounts of power and all kinds of things, including medical benefit radioisotopes. The research work that was being done on the graphene was second to none, and it was very close to establishing, I would say, one of the holy grails of tech because once you get that, then all of a sudden everything changes. Trump knew that you have basically $15 trillion economy based on petrochemicals. That's not going to disappear overnight. It's going to take, even if you snap your fingers and have that superconductor, it's not going to just overnight get changed. It's going to take time for it to get changed. In the meantime, he understood that the energy is the real money. And because energy is the real money, what you have to do is to produce as much of it as possible so you don't have to pay your dollars for that import, which means the price of crude oil is insane. And if they shut off number 5 pipeline, which they plan on doing, wow. Okay. Again, I said that my diesel would cost me $5 by December. It's already. I couldn't even fill my truck up for $75. So, and if they turn around and shut off number 5, I anticipate maybe $8-9 prices by the end of December if they do that. Um, and it will be a dark winter indeed because if they do shut it down, um, you're talking about a refinery that's been running for like 120 years. So it would take. You can't just fire that thing up. Once it's shut down, there's a whole bunch of things that will have to be done. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be beyond disastrous. So please prepare for that. Um, as I said to you before, food prices are crazy. Buy as much food as you could. Here on the east, I mean, I'm seeing basically just everything's doubled, and that's and the quality is not that good either. So, at any rate, but I'm losing. I'm lost another 20 Patreons. I do not have enough followers on my Odyssey account to do a live transmission, which would be really, I'd be able to say anything I want. So please follow me there. It's the same channel, odyssey.com, Bull on the, and I appreciate your followings there. This channel has been basically demonetized. Um, I appreciate everybody that's here. God bless you all. But it's no longer a platform that I can't really tell you what's going on. I mean, I can say to you that I can't say that either. Hi, how's it going, Laurie? I'm glad to see that you're here. And I really want to thank you guys, everybody that has been praying for my grandson. He's out of the woods, thank God. But and it's another miracle because that's could have gone the other way really easy. So yeah, never, never. I just can't wait to get down there and see him. Yeah, he still, has some congestion and stuff, but I'm praying, the Lord's hand on him will, heal that any damage that was done. So, and the other thing I wanted to ask you guys was, what did you guys want me to talk about? Because obviously, nobody's saying on my chats or anything else, "Oh, Bob, you were right." Oh, Bob, you're right. You were. Oh, we were watching these other things, and all these people were saying this, and now they've been proven wrong. And you're the only one who was telling the truth. And now we see that they were just following this this makes me very despondent. It's not that I did not want to try to uplift you guys, try to tell you that um, all hope is not lost, but the reality is that I'm not, people who can't put their hand on the Bible are in charge now for whatever you want to get out of that. Okay. And that's the way it is. Um, you can say anything you want on that specific thing, but the reality is this: the ROEs changed January 20th. They didn't have to change. These people could have held the line and done the right thing. There were many opportunities for them to do the right thing. They did not. They did not maintain their oath to God. Because when you take an oath before God, when you break that oath, you're breaking an oath to God. And thus, they really do not believe. Because think about it, okay? You don't want to do that. That's not something you want to do. Um, Unfortunately, Loriam, that's not really true. Um, Things are going to get a lot worse really fast, and you're not going to hear the truth really anymore on a lot of methodologies that you try to follow now. They won't be available to you. So they've been moving very rapidly. This other thing is you have to understand the way they think is, and they've done this. They've had a history of doing this. The more chaos there is, the more desperate people become, the more susceptible those people are to compromise their safety with the so-called liberty and to do desperate things. So people don't have that kind of strength that they need. Right, Max? Okay, Max. Okay, Max. Come on. Yes. Yes. Yeah. You love that? People don't have the strength. My sons, my son, my wife. There's a lot of people I know that have the strength, but you also have to understand we also have faith. And if you don't have the faith, if you don't put into resolute and learn how to die before you can truly live. My father always said that. My father would always say also in trying things, he said, make them say no. I said it to my son. My son in junior high school, we were in Brentwood at the time, and most of the school was black, and basically the football team was, the coaches were set, and the kids were really good athletes. No offense or buts. And my son Bobby went to the tryouts. I never forget this. And he came home and he basically wasn't going to go back, and he was very dejected. I said, look, I said, not every, because everything came easy to him on other things, but he was not a natural born athlete, unlike my son James. My son James was a tremendous natural born athlete. I said to Bob, just, my wife wouldn't allow. I said, no, you're going to go there and you're going to make them say no. You're going to make them. And I said, you're going to do the best you can. I was cut. Many times. You're going to do the best you can. You will learn from this. I said, you do. He tried and he made the cut by the skin of his teeth. He made this. And then, at the end of that year, he made the most improved player award. The next year, he made MVP. And he told me when he went to the academy, on the third day he was at the academy, he was thinking back to that lesson because it was so hard. And he realized that you can't give up. And that's what they really want to see. Because, folks, nobody's the full package, period. Everybody has different qualities and specialities, but you have to make them say no. You have to keep putting your effort in as much as you possibly can. And then have your faith to where that if it's the right thing, it's the right direction, he knows, and he will pick up the slack. He will make it happen. but he wants you. He wants to first see you do the best you can. So that's the way that works. Rick, uh, um, there's another item I want you guys to pray for. There's a friend of mine. He's a veteran. I'll just give you his name, Brad B. He's got stage 4 colon cancer. He's been through two kinds of chemo. The last one they had to stop because it was killing him. And the doctors basically, they say he's not going to make it beyond 60. I say, and he's lost faith in a lot of things. He's angry about a lot of things. And I said to him, I said, look, I said, the doctors don't know everything, but he wasn't hearing it. Okay. He's on a why me kind of angry kind of thing, bitter. It's human, it's understandable. So I've been praying for him. I wish you guys to pray for him as well. And I was praying, uh, please, God, put your hand on him and show him your power by healing him, and and embrace him. And so we'll see. And also, people pray for Rick here that his pain. Rick, when I was in a lot of pain, I used to pretend I was on a lake on a raft. And the more pain I was in, the more wavy that lake was. And I would focus on smoothing that wave out, smoothing that lake out. And I was making a prayer for that. Please smooth it out. And it does work. Because remember, pain is perception. And the reason why the good Lord gave us pain is because if you didn't have any pain, you really not too well in life. You die pretty fast. So pain is a good thing in some respects because it warns you that hey, something's wrong. Stop. Don't do this. But chronic pain can be tremendously bad. So um, don't just um, focus on it. Instead, um, get something out and read it. It doesn't have to be Bible. It could be something else. You know the Bible very well, Rick. So I would say read something else that you don't know as well that you can concentrate and focus on and envision, and that'll help you tremendously. But there's no substitute for a night for pain pills, so you can at least get a good night's sleep. Um, God didn't create all that stuff for nothing, so definitely use it. A lot of it you'll find has origins in plants. I have no idea about CBD oil. All I know is that I don't know. I do know what works for me. Um, I'm sometimes if I'm in pain like today, I'll take some oxy with 325 milligrams of aspirin, and that joint um, combination of drugs seems to work very well for me. So I don't know. I don't. Tylenol doesn't do anything. It's like nothing. Um, doesn't do anything for me. They've prescribed all kinds of stuff, and the side effects of it are just so it's not worth it. But for me, pure the Oxy 5 milligram tablets, I can then moderate them and mix them with my 325 milligrams of aspirin, and that works very well for me. But that's just me. Everybody is different. Believe me, if you don't think everybody's different, then I'm going to tell you something. I have a gardener, okay, and he can just walk right through poison ivy, poison, and no, he could probably rub it all over his skin. It doesn't matter to him. I look at that crap and I get it. Okay, I'm not kidding. I just look at it and I get it. So, and there's just differences, like some people like vanilla, some people like chocolate, some, everybody's different. Um, no, I mean, so, uh, I don't take Oxy on a daily basis. And if I do take it, like I take it with a soft gel pill because otherwise, but I do have to take it because if my pain goes up too much, because I do have herniated disc and things like this, and I still have a 9 millimeter kidney stone that's bugging me every now and then. It drives my pressure too high, and that's worse because you have a propensity. If you've already had a stroke, you can get another stroke easier. So I have to take pills to to bring that down, to take the edge of it off. But I don't like pain pills. I'd rather focus on things, but there are sometimes, like I said, when the weather is really horrible, like today, I feel every helmet hit I ever took, and and then you just feel the miles on your bones. So it's the way it is. And I also put it to you, Rick, down further on Matthew 7:7. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. And I can only speak of the miracles of my life. You have seen miracles of yours. So God wants you to do as good as you possibly can, and He will bail you out. I promise. He will not. I seem to. I'm not down. I'm good. I'm in a little bit of discomfort today because of the weather. Uh, I'm I didn't start my generator, and my generator has got so many hours on it. It's very difficult to start. That's why I bought another one of exactly the same type. It's only got 305 hours on it, and it's in Indiana. I got to go pick it up. So when I get back from my son's Thanksgiving, I'll be going there to pick it up. Yeah, and I won't be able to install it probably. I don't know. I don't know what I'll be able to install when it's either really cold enough to where the ground is really hard. I don't know because it weighs 1,000 pounds. So I'm not going to be doing it. I'm going to be hiring people to do it. But you know what I'm saying. But yep, there are many days I do not take any meds any stronger than aspirin. Aspirin is my go-to stuff, but I take it with food, and I also take Ecotrin. Ecotrin is basically it's not it's Kirkland. It's the same thing. It's 325 milligrams aspirin coated so that it doesn't cause your stomach any problems or anything. And believe me, I know the coating works because I dropped a couple down the drain, and I finally cleaned out the thing, and I found them in the drain. It's still intact after, and we're talking about 10 months of bathroom sink activity. They still didn't dissolve, which is amazing to me. So they really, 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 truly work. The coating really works. Yep, I've been to pain clinic. Um, I went there too. So just and I had my knees injected with the corn, the rooster crow stuff. Huge, recommend that highly. Got rid of all the gravel. It's really incredible. I just on days like today, I just have this pain in my back. It's not good. Max, I got no bone. Come on. And it's been raining so hard, I didn't get a chance for my Max walk, which does make me feel better. Max, look at this. I got another one. Oh, I got another one. Come on. Come on, get up here, won't you, bitch? It's high. It's high. Even it's the wind's blowing at least 40 miles an hour. It's raining. I was gonna go. I was gonna do this show from Vermont, but it's it's a freaking blizzard on the mountain. Um, yeah, so that wouldn't be good. Um, and the snow's not the problem, but the road, the valley is not snow; it's rain. So on the way up, it's ice. And I got to tell you something. I don't mind snow. I don't mind snow at all. Ice, ice is no good. Period. I can't tell you. Ice is, yeah, no, very bad. Yep, Max is the best medicine. Your best medicine, Max. He's looking back. Yes, you have fans. You have fans. He's really a blessing. This guy. He's so smart. He goes with me to the doctor. I went to the doctor. I think it was Thursday. Right? He's such a mush. He's such a flirt to the women, the nurses there. They love you. Yeah, you just go to them and make them pet you and stuff. You're just a mush. He loves women, and they just scratch him on his stomach, and he ah, he does he's such a mush. He's so a mush. You're mushy. You're just a big mush. All right, you want you want this little crumb? The little crumb. Yeah. Yes, you want the crumb. Anyway, so that little medal you see that's taking him everywhere now. He goes with me every place. He's very good. He's got his vest. He hates his vest, but he wears it when I have to put it on him. But for the most part, he's you know Any questions about anything? Well, we're going to talk about something that you must understand. So you notice what the AOC said about methane. Methane's terrible. Methane. Let me explain something to you. The natural, I think it's almost 40% of the natural gas that is being basically harvested here in the Northeast and also other places. It's from landfills, waste dumps, stuff like this. And they're, if they didn't uh, harvest it and use it, it would be just going into the atmosphere. So that's not very logical because, you know, that'd be a lot more methane in the atmosphere, even though we all know methane is measured in parts per billion, not million. Okay. So, yeah, the peat moss and other types of things, the termites, are the biggest emitters of methane. So harvesting and using it, natural gas is clean energy, very clean, very very clean energy. And again, the what it puts out, and you don't even have to use combustion. You can use it like Bloom. They make fuel cells. So on their fuel cells, there's absolutely no nitrous oxide emissions. It's just purely CO2 and water. And CO2 is got a very bad rap, but it's not. It's just plant food. It actually, recent studies have proven that it's not the atmospheric heater that they think. It doesn't go and heat up the troposphere like they thought. What does, believe it or not, is water vapor. And specifically, if cosmic rays hit the water vapor, it forms clouds. And the clouds do two things depending on where they're formed. If they're formed low, they can insulate and trap heat. If they're formed high, they will block the sun. So it all, climate science is not as simple as they thought. And there's actually geological evidence of the fact that the sun controls the climate, or thus the cycle of which thereof, for the most part. Again, there are anomalies. There are volcanic anomalies, there are asteroid anomalies, there are anomalies. But the reality is that, again, what melted the last ice age? And I put it to you, what froze the last ice age? What melted the last five ice ages that we know about? How come the Earth had 10,000 parts per million CO2 when it was frozen at the core of the equator to where that it was a big ice ball? So, if you want to know the facts, there was a lot more carbon in the atmosphere millennia ago. And if you don't believe me, well, it's very simple. Look at what the state of Florida rests on: limestone. Look at all the coal deposits. And now you just think about the coal deposits in West Virginia and Virginia, and you think of the oil that's in Pennsylvania, and you think Texas and Canada and everything else. What about those minerals and also those fossil fuels that are sitting on the deepest part of the Pacific? The Pacific is huge ocean, okay? And if you don't think that there's calcium carbonate down there, oh, there's lots of calcium carbonate. There's lots of that's limestone and other types of things. That's CO2 that's been sequestered, okay? And it doesn't come out until it gets to a tectonic area where it subluxates in a volcano and melts. And because it's lighter than the other materials, it comes out in volcanism, okay? As a matter of fact, for your own statistics, and this is fact, absolute fact, you can look this up, the volcano that has now been erupting for over 30 days in the Canary Islands, or you see in the news, and everybody's worried about the tsunami and everything else, that has put out more CO2, more sulfur dioxide, more nitrous, all kinds of bad stuff in the past 30 days than the United States, than you have as the American citizen done in 10 years. Now, that doesn't say that, and I say this again over and over again, that oil does not pollute, that oil is not efficient, that oil is too expensive. It is. But solar is way more expensive, and it's just an energy transfer. You never get back the energy that went into making that solar panel, unless you put it in space. You never get back the energy that went into making these windmills with their rare earth generators that are sitting on top. No. The only energy which is you need to go into, which is way more efficient, 98% efficient, is molten salt reactors, okay, that burn basically anything, including they run on thorium and they run on salts. They do not use water. And those are 98% efficient. And you have to say to yourself, since we had the technology back in 57 and it ran to 1973 at Oak Ridge, why did Nixon get a call from GE to shut it down? Because it is too efficient. It's the same reason why JP Morgan called and shut down Tesla's experiments for the same reason. Okay? The governments of the world do not want cheap energy. That is the tremendous hidden tax. And you can see, I said to you that energy is the true money. If you raise the prices of energy, it will ripple throughout. Like a big rock in a pond, it'll make a ripple throughout and it'll affect everything. Everything will go up. And the person that it affects the most, the person that it taxes the most, is you. Doesn't attack the billionaire, doesn't attack the multimillionaire, doesn't attack them. Okay. They don't care. It cost me $75 for 3/4 of a tank of fuel in my van. I just filled my van. $75. This is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's look at this, Sullivan. Well, the sun, compared to its past cycles, even though we're in cycle 25, even though it's picking up, it's nothing compared to, believe it or not, the cycles of the 30s, 40s, and 50s, where it was really insane. But what you have to understand is that we did not have the solid state technologies. We did not have the internet. We did not have the type of the systems that we had were way more robust and were not as affected as these new systems are. These new systems cannot withstand, I would say a K-15 event. That and higher, forget about it. You're going to see massive, massive, massive problems. The 2002 Olds, I got you beat on that. Well, first of all, my van has got a lot more miles than that, but even my Mercedes, I have an ML 350 diesel, and it's got 170,000 miles on it. So I buy cars and I run them. I take care of them and I run them. I'm not into this, you know. I bought that car because of a Mercedes diesel. What's the matter, Max? You're crying about something. What? You want the last bone? You want the last bone? All right. There's one more here. There's one more. There's a bone. Oh, he's good. He's just he doesn't understand. And if I took him to the DOGPARK, well, oh my god, and he'd be fine in the rain and everything, but he'd be rolling around on the mud. Yeah, one of the best and cheapest cars I ever owned was a 1978 LeSabre with a Pontiac 301 that had a knock in the main bearing when I bought it. It had 115,000 miles on it when I bought it. I bought it for $650. I needed the car. The interior was immaculate. The air conditioner still worked, and the clock still worked. It needed tires, tune-up, plugs, things like this. I put that on in my uncle's garage, and I fixed her up, and it looked terrible. I had a terrible paint job, rust on the hood, and everything else. But it had a great big trunk and good room and stuff, and it was reliable. So I think I put a quart of training fluid in the engine to try to help with the main bearing, and I put another 125,000 miles on it, knocking the whole way. And then I gave it to my in laws, and then the master cylinder went, and then I fixed that, and then I lent it to my friend Brad at the time. He didn't have a car. He was between cars. He drove the crap out of it, and then he'd get back to me, and I think finally the bearing was slipping, and it was So then I just took it to the junkyard. I got $150 for it, but I picked my first son up, and that was Savior, and I bought my first family Christmas tree, live tree, and I didn't care. I put a Christmas tree on the top of it. I didn't care. Um, yep. But my family on my mother's side, of course, and then my sister, they used to laugh and make fun of it, things like this. But to me, it was saving money, a lot of money, and it was reliable. I took it to Chicago twice. I used to have an office at 1920 North Lincoln Avenue, and yeah, so safe and reliable, a lot of metal, and comfortable, very comfortable. Gas, no, it was 13, 14 miles to the gallon, but it's what it is. And then like I said, I had a Oldsmobile at the time, um, but it wasn't that big in the back, and it was a Color Supreme. It was a 442. I used to take that into the city all the time, and yep, it looked like heck too. I mean, mechanically it was great, but it didn't look good. And then I I got a big windfall and a big contract, and I bought two brand new cars at the same time. And then from there, and I drove the piss. Me and my wife drove that Lincoln. I drove it all the way down to Florida once, and other places. It was our car. It was the car, and the Sable that was my wife's car. So yeah, again, I bought both of them, and so and my Mark III was a nice car. Was a little, you know. And there was, and then I went from really that We had that. We got rid of the Sable. We got a Lincoln Continental that was stolen at my wife's office. So then my wife was driving Mike Lincoln, and then we went and we bought a first of the vans, a G20 Chevrolet white van, Explorer package. Great van, had a solar panel on the roof. It was really good. And oh gosh, I drove that to really 2001. Again, I was hit in that car. A kid who was driving. No, my sons and I walked away. But it bent the whole frame of the car, so they were totaled by the insurance. And then I looked and I didn't like the GM models anymore. So I was looking at the four diesels. We were down at Disney World, and I asked this guy who was driving my exact van, and I said, "How do you like it? What's the deal?" Show him the logbook, and the only thing that they changed, it had 1 million miles on it, and the only thing they changed was the injectors twice and the turbo once, and the transmission and stuff like that. But 1 million miles, I was like, sold. So like, that's the van I want. And this was like the last year that it came out, and it was running on vegetable oil down there. They had it all set up for vegetable oil because that's what Disney does. I was like, wow, this is incredible to run on anything. He says, yeah, it's a bus engine that just slipped into this van, and so there it is. That's where I am now. I mean, and I've had that car now for 20 years, and it runs better now than it did when I bought it. So that's the way it works. Um, my wife, we had bad luck with other cars, and she said, let's just go to Mercedes. Let me, look there. I did, and they had a special on a diesel. This was back in, I think it was, 20, 2012. It's a white diesel. We got it for a good price, and it died, and we had nothing but problems with it. It was a. My wife says it was a Le Mans. I want to tell you something. Mercedes bought the car from us. What we paid for it. They bought the maintenance package. They then paid for the insurance that we had on the car. They loaned her a car while they built another Mercedes, an ML320. They sold us the ML320 fully loaded at cost, what it cost to make them. It was unbelievable. I mean, they bent they did everything they could to get my wife, and my wife is that's it forever. She's a Mercedes customer. I mean, she was driving a loaner for like a year. I'll tell you another story. I was down in Florida, Maryland, with the ML, and the oil cooler started leaking. That's what where those things are in diesels. Diesels have oil coolers that mix with the radiator coolant and the thing. Anyway, that's what they do. They just go like that. Oh, in the van, I changed mine before it did that. That for that exact reason. Okay. And so when I saw this starting to drip, then I knew exactly what it was. My son was pissed at me because it messed up his driveway. I took it to the Mercedes place. They didn't have the parts, and so they lent us another Mercedes. We drove home with Mercedes. We used the Mercedes for about 2 or 3 months. Then we drove back to Annapolis, where they fixed the car. Okay, incredible. Okay, and yeah, my wife could tell you just unbelievable stuff like that. So now, is it expensive? Yes. Are they expensive to work on? Yes, but They don't leave a stone untouched. Now, do I have really great mechanics that I use it at this Goodyear Auto Tech on Jericho, who again take pride in their work, do exactly the right thing, and then some, like it's their own car. Yes, but that is really rare. Okay, I only know of one other mechanic set that's in Georgia. Okay, so but Mercedes, no. Anywhere you go with a Mercedes thing, they will pull out. That's the quality they work on, but it's expensive. I'm not going to tell you it's cheap. It's not cheap. It's very expensive, but we've done well. We've done very well with the cars that we purchased. My wife's car now is worth about. I'm not kidding. 22,000 dollars more than she paid for it. They wanted to sell a car, and she's like, "No." Okay, so let me see. The Rittenhouse case, the defense rested, so they're making closing arguments today. But anybody will tell you if they're a lawyer, the prosecutor really, I think personally, I think that the defense really has a motion of um, really violated his constitutional rights. There's no question about it. I mean, we're talking about 50 years of case law, and yeah, that's not good. And the judge let them know about it, but it would be a mistrial with prejudice, which means the same thing as not guilty. The judge might turn around and give a directed verdict because I personally believe that the only thing they could maybe get him on is just a misdemeanor on legal weapons charge. That's basically it. Um, yeah, I mean, the prosecution did not make its case at all. If anything, the witnesses of the prosecution really made the defense's case. Yeah, now with the new cars, though, mechanics, you really have to be a computer scientist or have a really expensive computerized tool because everything is run by the computer and there's sensors on everything, and those sensors are designed to go out literally in 5 years. I was lucky with the van where I just changed them all. I said just change them because I knew what they did and I know what they're capable of, and so if you just get rid of them and put new ones in, then you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, the new ones, but the new cars, they have way more stuff on them. It's very difficult to work on them. Um, and including like my even my Mercedes. You if you're not Mercedes, you can't change the transmission oil. There's no dipstick. There's not a conventional pan. So they have a whole special, really expensive tool to service the transmission and do things with it. So they're really not made for your regular repairman. Yeah. So with my van, because it's 20 years old, I got an Edge 2 CSM system. What that does, and you've seen it on my things, is that tells me all aspects of what exactly is going on with my engine, transmission, engine oil, RPM, everything. Everything is covered on there, and I have it all set up for alerts. So if anything is going awry, it'll beep like crazy. Let me know that there's something going on because I do use the van a lot for towing. And with towing, you have to know what's going on. So because things, you're pushing everything. You're pushing the drivetrain, you're pushing, and heat is your enemy. That's the one thing you have to worry about. It's heat. So, um, I don't know anything about Subarus. I know that my nephew, my my brother-in-law, that's all they buy is Subarus. A lot of people in Vermont buy Subarus. I don't know. I don't know one. My son just bought a new Raptor. He likes it. My other son, he's having he's having some problems with his 2005 Escape. He's never changed the sensors um, ever. I think he's on his second battery ever in that car. It's a hybrid. It's not the drivetrain battery. He never changed. So, and he's got some 250,000 miles on it. So it needs some sensor work. Yeah, we're seeing stuff here. Mainly prices are insane. Um, everything has literally doubled overnight. Really gone up a lot. Bacon is insane. Bacon is like I forget. It's almost $6. So it's incredible. Everything is expensive. So meat, everything is crazy. Chicken, turkeys. You better buy it if you're here in Northeast. You better buy your turkey now. And a lot of people can't because they don't have refrigerator space. We have my wife is calling my son. I have a frozen turkey in my freezer. We might have to bring it down to Florida. I don't know. So we have room. I can hook up another freezer in my van and just no big deal. Bring it down. But yeah, bad. I'd love to do a lot of things. I don't have a slicer. I wanted to get one, but I don't have any bones. I'm all boned out. I can give you a whittle. You can show yourself what you want to show yourself off to these people. You want to show yourself off to these people? Yes. You can show yourself to these people. See, you're right there. You're right there. Yes. It's okay. I know. I know. I know. I love you too. I love you too. You want to do a howl for these people? Woo! 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 Ah, he likes to howl. You like it? Yes. Yes, you're talking. You're talking. Don't worry about it. When I go to Indiana, you're coming with, boy. It's gonna be you and me. Gonna be you and me. We're gonna see Fred. My cousin Fred lives in Ohio. He's a brother from another mother. Right? He's gonna like that a lot. Max loves the van. I have a picture of him, and This is my wife took a great shot of him just riding in the van. Yeah, see, that's Max in the van. He's got his own seat and his own view. You can see all the nose stains on the window. Yeah, gas here is $4 almost. Okay, it's 3.87. Yeah, not good. So, very expensive, and it's getting more expensive. So it's getting everything is they just increased my electric bill by about 30, I think about 34%. Another surcharge for fuel. Um, yeah, they're doing that, and um, yeah. So I wanted to know what was going what's this whole breakthrough? What I saw and what the surprise was November 10th. They bombed a mock-up of the new Ford class carrier in China. Yeah, and in addition to that, Biden has already basically said, "Oh, take Taiwan." So that means, and if you think there's problems now, phew, all the M1 chips are being for Apple are being made in China, basically Taiwan. So it's going to be China. Okay, so uh, bad, and yeah, so it's gonna mean problems with your drugs. It's gonna mean problems with everything. All this simple stuff. It's gonna be even worse. Um, and now they're saying it's not just a dozen Americans that are caught in Afghanistan, just a dozen. Yeah, more like a minimum of 144, a minimum. And if there's not more, there's more. Not to mention, like I said, all those other things. Not to mention everything else that's going on that they're not talking about. How about the shipping of all these illegals all over the place? Florida, Long Island, all places are seeing these people come in, and most of them have criminal records because they're not the best. Yep. So, don't give me this crap that Trump is in charge. Trump is not in charge, has not been in charge. It was a Charlie Oscar Utah Paul. Okay, big time. And no different than in 1963. Same thing. Instead of shooting the president, they did other stuff. So, but the same thing. Okay, same result. Now you're seeing our energy is cut. Our foreign dependence on oil and other things are more than ever, and that's they're not. "Oh, well, we're not gonna do no, we're not doing that." So, and now, what do? Oh, we'll kill pipeline number 5. Yeah, we'll kill it. Yeah, that was big. Yeah. Okay. So they made the same things about Laurie. They made the same things about Russia. Russia isn't just a flag. Obama Russia. No. When they say that, look to China. Look what's going on in India. That's what you have to look at. Don't look at Russia. Okay. Russia's one thing has been helped so much by this Biden administration. It's not funny. They're now selling their oil at a profit. While Trump was president and doing all the stuff domestically, they were selling the oil at a loss. At a loss, they were. Okay. Not now. They're making hand over fist on the oil. Same thing with the Arabs. Same thing with all our enemies. That's what all this green agenda has done. It's made carbon really expensive, and not because it's forcing people to go into electric vehicles and everything else. Do you realize how much carbon you have to burn to produce an electric car? Look into the production of lithium. Lithium, okay? Yeah. Look at the production of these cars. Okay, how much energy it takes to produce them. I'm made out of aluminum. Aluminum. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, you'll see this. It can't be done running on solar power. Can't be done running on wind power. No. The only way it can be done not running on fossil fuels is running on nuclear energy. That's the only way it can be done. Can't be done running on solar and wind. Cannot happen. There's not enough density in it. It's not efficient enough to make it happen. Okay. You don't go from a more efficient use of energy, a higher density, to a less efficient and lower density. That's not how you do it. Okay. You can't do that. But if you go to people and say, I can build an electric car and you can fuel it for $1 and you can go 500 miles on it, you don't have to twist their arm. Okay. Anybody would jump at that chance to do that. I would get rid of my 7.3 engine and retrofit it with that electrical system with a superconducting capacitor and everything else. No problemo. But, okay, that technology is not present. They did not finish it. Okay, it was canceled by this administration. I'll have you know that lifters and molten salt reactors were made illegal in this country by the Obama Biden administration in 2012. Look it up. Okay. Yeah. Made that kind of research illegal. Couldn't do it. Okay. The only power we should be going into, only power, is really, and it's really the same source. If you like geothermal energy, then you like nuclear power. You like thorium power because that's where that energy comes from. It comes from the fission nuclear reactor in the heart of our planet, in the core. It's taking that uranium and that thorium and breaking it down and splitting it. And that is causing all that tremendous heat to be released. Okay. And that activity is what propels the magnetic field and everything runs off that, including Yellowstone, including that other. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. Okay. There was a golden opportunity, and we're running out of time to harness and prevent Yellowstone from blowing its top, to prevent other volcanoes from blowing their top. That has to be done for the safety of the planet as well as harnessing that energy. Okay. Same thing with, blocking the CMEs. Same thing with the already unwinding Ellie event, which is Fukushima. Fukushima will kill you 45 years from now. 45 years from now, you will not have the male species fertile enough to procreate due to the fact that you'll see the same radiation levels in the Pacific that are migrating east as you'll see it in the Atlantic. And that's just the way it is because you can't keep dumping 870 tons of radioactivity material and water into the Pacific Ocean. You can't keep doing it. It's been going on since 2011. Can't keep doing it. It has to be sealed and capped. Okay, can't keep doing it. The Pacific is large, but it's not on, and there's life, and that life is getting into the food chain and getting that radiation, those materials throughout. It's just the way it is. So, yeah. And the CME that's going to hit us, it's going to hit us from now to basically 5.5 years with the peak of the activity on the sun. It will not have to be a K20. Doesn't have to be a Carrington event. Doesn't have to be. We have a lot more technology, both in satellites and on the ground and everything else. We do not have to get hit with the event as large as the Carrington event. Are there events that are even bigger than that in our geological past? Guess what? Yes. And when the last time the sun was going to sleep, that's when we got hit with a really big one. So these are cyclical cycles, okay? And they happen. Yeah. Yeah, because this is how they work. Everything is racist. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Nobody wants to turn and look what President Ike won't. I can't even say it. Did you hear the president what he said about the N word that he used? The N League, unbelievable. They are the most racist. They think that it's unbelievable. If you want to speak racism, just simply take anything that they say white, take it out. On media, take it out. And just substitute black. Okay. And then say the same thing. And you'd be like, oh my God. Exactly. Because that's racism. Anytime you make a comment about somebody because of their skin color, not by their content, okay, or anything, whether they're missing a limb, whether they're blind, whether they're fat, whether they're short, whatever, you are being an adjective before that. Now, everybody can be an ass wipe. Okay. You don't have to be fat. You don't have to be black. You don't have to be white. You don't have to. It doesn't matter. You can be a human being. Any human being can be an idiot. Okay. Can be a jerk. And we've seen lots of them. And unfortunately, 90% of the world today that gets the time of day is ass wipes. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, the people who are the heroes are the ones that are not noticed and the ones that really should be noticed. But remember, the thing that took out Lucifer, very, very important. Okay, pride. Now, now there's two types of pride. Okay, there's pride in oneself, which means you do a good job, you do the best you can. Okay, the best you can possibly be at any given time. You do the best job you can do. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what God wants. That's a godly thing to do. Pr- Pride, where where you start. I'm the best. I'm the best. No, that's no. Oh, there's always somebody better. Okay, always. there's always somebody better, there's always somebody worse, there's always somebody whatever. Take pride in the fact that you did the best you could. Measure yourself against what you were doing yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. That's who you should compare yourself to. That's who you should judge yourself against. Judge yourself. Don't judge others. What do I need to do, Lord, to make myself better? Everything else, learn from those examples of others that are superior. Wow, he's doing something I'd like to do. How did he do that? Look at it as that's great. I want that knowledge. That's how you look. Don't envy the material thing. Oh, he's silver. Don't envy that. How did he get that? That's what you want. Um, because Lucifer wants to take down as many people. He wants company, a lot of it. Um, that's what he wants. He wants to separate you from our heavenly Father. That's what he wants. That's his modus operandi. Okay. Um, when God created Lucifer, he created a beautiful angel. I think Ezekiel told. I think it's Ezekiel. I think it's four, Ezekiel 7, 4. Gotta find it. Rick would go back, but he start quoting it already. Cinnamon goes lace seasons. That's not 4. 7? Is it 7? Seven. No, it's not. It's not there either. Good stuff in Ezekiel, but it's not. It's not that. Ooh, tough stuff on Ezekiel 7. I thought it was Ezekiel. It might have been something else. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I know it's in here. Okay. But you know, he made a nice angel. You know, perfect. That's what God does. I don't know. I still you know when I get to it, I still don't get it. You know, I never could get this. I mean, you watch the Lord create everything, and then you know He created you, and then like, okay, let's take over this joint, and then convince other angels to go along with you. Yeah, we're gonna take over heaven. We're gonna do this. It's just crazy, right? I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, like I've joked before, but he must have been the birth of the car salesman right there. He convinced those other angels to go along with him. This is going to be a good thing. Yeah, well, let's do this. It's going to end good. I'm going to take over the whole joint. Oh, I don't know about you, but I always had I always so obviously it's all part of God's plan, obviously, because you wouldn't be able to have the test without Satan doing his insane things. But for the life of me, I can't figure that. I can never figure that out. The logic. It just must jealousy. Just must just lose your mind. You just go. You just lose it. It just crazy. It's just we. Yeah. So yeah. And then he tempts God. I mean, that's just. And then Christ keeps throwing it back at him. It is written. So I've seen that too. I've seen what jealousy does. I've seen it in my sister big time. Oh boy, does it really? They get filled so enraged and filled with hate. It's amazing. I remember I bought my house in Vermont and everything else. Instead of being happy, I'm never going to Vermont. Never. Okay. Okay. Not congratulations. Not Yeah. Nope. And that was the Aspen ski place that they were going to get that they threw back in my face. And I actually had a friend who was living in Aspen. We're talking a Murphy bed place, no bigger than to have a Murphy bed, and it was $1.2 million. I'm like, well, I don't have $1.2 million to spend on a ski house. No, sorry. And then to have to fly to it. If I can drive to this in 4.5 hours and use it other than skiing too, hunting, fishing, different things. Nope, that's really great, but I don't have that kind of money. My accent, my Long Island accent. I'm sure it is. I never saw so many Democrats and lunatics in my life up in Vermont. But they make absolutely no sense at all, and they're wearing masks outside and everything. And I had a discussion with a guy who was so-called green, and I went through the discussion, and I said to him, I said, okay, so what melted the last ice age? Was it Ford or Toyota? He couldn't answer that question. Then he was saying to me how my diesel is causing climate change. I'm like, yeah, no, actually, my diesel is actually more efficient and actually putting out less carbon emissions than a brand new one. A brand new one burns almost um, a third to two-thirds more diesel, depending on what it is, and doing the same job. And then it doesn't, that particular filter, it filters it, but then it goes into a regen mode, which then adds more fuel to it to burn it and then put out the tailpipe. But because it's burning at a higher temperature, you don't see any black smoke. You just, yeah, it's still going and burning more fuel. Okay. Yeah. So it's all BS. Okay. It doesn't, no. Um, and what it does is it just makes it wear out faster, and there's more aluminum in it. Yeah, more aluminum means there was more carbon used to make it versus my cast iron steel 7.3. And the fact that I've been driving it for 20 years means that the carbon that went into making it, the energy that went into making it, I'm getting the most energy out of it. Okay. That's the greenest thing. Just like my semi. I have a 1989 Beneteau Oceanus 350 with a 28 horsepower M2003 Volvo diesel. Okay. cast iron. Yeah, it'll leaks a little bit of oil on the idle. It's oil rich idle, but I'm not usually idling it for long. I run it usually about 1725 to 2000 RPMs. It'll sit there all day long and it burns very well, very liter an hour. And I don't even burn a tank of fuel when I use it for the season. Um, I, everybody's saying all the wonders about. I don't believe it. Is any Grace Girl? I I'll say it this way, then you'll understand. Durham. Okay, was he a great guy in Canada? It doesn't take 4 years to go through the kind of stuff. This is ridiculous. Okay, so if I did anything like this, and case in point, you saw what they did to Storm, you saw what they did to other people. Give me a break. Okay. No. What about the Biden laptop? What about all the other things? What about the Clinton emails? What about all those times she lied before Congress? What about that? What about all the Clinton records? What about I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. Okay, give me a break. Okay. None of this was done when Trump was president, which should have been everything that occurred should have been dealt with before the 2018 elections. Period. Okay. The statute has run. The statutes are up. So I don't know what find me a prosecute. Let me see the perp walk. Then I'll be a believer. Haven't seen it. All these other naysayers are the same ones that are saying Trump's in charge. You really think Trump would abandon all those Americans in Afghanistan? You really think Trump would hurt as many people that are being hurt in this country today? You have no idea what's going on. No, it was a coup. Okay, no, exactly. Look what happened to him. He's a reporter. They're trying to get his contacts. That's what they're doing. No, this is what tyrannical regimes do. This is not a lesson to wake everybody and all this other BS. No, okay. Last time I heard, it was in Grenada. Okay, I have no idea where the man is now or his family. None. Do I agree with what happened? I don't agree from the beginning. I wasn't agreeing with it. From the beginning, 2016, I wanted John to come down with the family, and he would have been the target. The Dems would have had a field day, all kinds of things, and Trump would have been left alone to get his things done. And probably he would have been your AG after a year, if not sooner. It would have changed everything. I don't even know if Trump would have ran again. And the other thing is that you have to say to yourself, well, why isn't Trump announcing now? Why is he waiting? How do you know I don't think he's going to run. I've seen his wife, and his wife does not want him to run again. Doesn't want it. His wife wants him to be a father to his son. That's what his wife wants, first and foremost. The leaders, this whole thing was, like I said, I would have gotten in front of the UN. I would have read our letter. I've published it many times on my Patreon page. That I wasn't the only person. I signed it, but a lot of other bigger and better people signed it more than me. And that's what the number one threat to the whole planet is: the sun. Period. Sun drives everything. Okay. Number two threat: near Earth objects. Can't tell you how many size bus asteroids or city killer asteroids, and they just whiz by. And I'm talking about whiz by. Missed us by like 800 miles or 1,500 miles. And the elite's like, oh well. Let me tell you something. If you're in a city that thing hits, it's not an oh well. It's called Belva. Okay, and there's no reason for that. There is no reason. It could be done where it was a 27. I know it was someplace. I thought it was Ezekiel, but I'm not as read up as Rick is. I need to. Um, 27. At any rate, we told the sun, the Earth objects, volcanism. Okay, definitely got to deal with these things. Okay, nothing was in the thing because it won't matter. Okay, if you have a super volcano off, poof, doesn't matter. All the it doesn't matter. 27, 27. Yeah, that's not the. That's not. I know it's in there someplace, but um, anyway. But basically it's one of those five sins that God talks about and warns about, and it's pride. Not the kind of pride that I'm talking about. The kind of pride that's bad. He says, Ezekiel 27. Turn. Yeah, that's not what I'm seeing. That's not. That's not. I knew it was in here someplace, but again, talks about and also wishing ill of somebody. Okay, like you wish that person would not be successful. Okay. Um, I don't wish Biden not success. He's our president. Why would I wish him not success? I wish that somebody would, reach down and get cast out those demons. That's what I wish. I don't wish ill. But I told you guys, this thing here, this is over. This is that's it. So, and I don't get people. I only have 32 people watching me right now. Doesn't make me angry. It makes me thankful for the 32 people watching me right now. Makes me very thankful for that. But who's the one who told you? I told you that Trump was not in charge. I told you to prepare. I told you that this was going to happen. I said it 7 months ago. 7 months ago, I told you what fuel is going to be now. They were like, "Oh no, it's not. No, it's just a test. It's fake. It's a set. It's not. Why is the Bob? Why are all these fences going up around Washington? Why are all these people? Because that's what happens with tyranny. Okay? Tyranny, the leaders are afraid of the people. Okay? When you're a true democratic republic, you're not afraid of the people. You embrace the people because you're looking out for those people's needs. You want to help the people because those people got you elected. That's the way it works. Okay. You have now is tyranny on multiple levels and it's increasing. Now they're saying, and they're going on the record. I mean, basically every transaction that you do in your bank, $500 and up, they're going to look at. I'm going to tell you this: if it's $1, they're going to look at it. Okay, dollar. She's saying that she wants to get off cash entirely. Yeah, they want it. They want to do their reset. How are they going to do it? They're going to do it by making your life even more miserable and basically destroying the dollar. That's how they're going to do it. I'll tell you right now. They're definitely going to do it by killing that pipeline. That's going to cause insane stuff to happen. So if you think things are expensive now, think about it when the prices are now double on the fuel. Yeah, that's right. Double means things are going to go up by another 50 to 60%. Okay? That's if you can still get them. And you will see shortages like in 1972. You will see inflation like 1978. The Carter years revisited. Okay? You will see that type of inflation. Okay? They're going to have to, and they're going to do it. They're going to raise the rates. So the market will just. I can't see how the market's doing what it's doing. It's all be buckus as far as I'm concerned. Buckus, because right now people aren't people. You can't tell me all these economic figures are not. It's all fixed. It's got to be. Same thing with, but no. I keep telling you, people. God can't. God has got a timeline. Okay. God's got a timeline. In order for this to happen, okay. In order for this to happen, right here, okay. In order for that to happen, God, it's going to get worse. The Antichrist, who's probably already here, I think that the Antichrist is here, is going to come. Everything that's going on today is making the red carpet for that Antichrist. Okay. Have people arguing about how many sexes there are. Okay. I mean, legitimate legal arguments. One state says that there's 68. Another state says that there's 118. This is insane. Okay. Just saying. So, and 2 plus 2 isn't equal to 4 anymore. That's racist. By me saying it, it's racist. Could be 5. It's possible it could be 6. I haven't heard 7, but that's not outlandish. No, might be. It's not anymore a fact of saying I have 1 apple, I add another apple, that's 2 apples, I add a third apple, I add a fourth. Can't do that anymore. Okay. There's no sense of reality. Everything is this insanity. Okay, it's political insanity. It's crazy. Okay, it's really crazy. But no, you're not dreaming. It's real. Because I'm in the same nightmare. We're all in the same nightmare. The only thing we have to hold is this: the love of our Father in heaven, who gave us this. But he gave us this to tell us what is going on, what is going to happen. This happens out of prayer. Those bowls, and Rick, come in on me on this, those bowls are filled with our prayers. Our prayers bring that about, just like the prayers of the children of Abraham brought about Exodus and Moses. Moses did not do those miracles. God did the miracles using Moses as his instrument. No, we're heading for a they won't let it come to that. They're gonna black things out. They're gonna isolate and black things out, and then tell you what's going on. Of course, it'll be a lie. I mean, come on, how many people do you think have shortwave? How many people really look and talk about the news now? Do you think the millennial generation really knows what's going on? Really? Really? Do you think that they do? They don't. Do you think the millennial generation knows how to fix anything? Do you think they know how to function and do anything? Really? Do you think so? I know that my sons do. But already at the time of my son's graduations from high school, they were less than five percenters. Less than five percenters. We won't even talk about later on. My job was to turn those boys into men that are going to be better fathers than I am, that are going to be better men than I was, and that are going to be survivors, and that are going to survive what's coming. Um, I prepared for the worst. I hope for the best. But the reality is that I see the Trump administration, and this is me being frank, as being a waste of time. Everything that Trump did has been undone and in spades. So, what was the point of it? What was the logic of that? If you don't, um, I don't think Trump ever realized how bad it really was. I don't, because he was being attacked ever since he came down the escalator in his own building and started to run. He was being attacked. He was being attacked because he's not part of them. He's not. He's a kid from Queens. He's not part of them. Everybody thought he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. To an extent, yes. I mean, yeah, his father was well off, but not well off like the Rockefellers, not well off like the Gettys, not well off like the Bushes, not well, no, no. Trump identified more with his friends at the military academy. Trump was not a straight shooter. That's why he ended up going to the military academy. But as the military does, and the military academies do, they straighten you out. They bring you to. Oh yeah, I knew it was something. I'm not going to get into it now. I'll do a special on that. But the point is that the point is to you, Rick. Lucifer is doing God's work. God knew he was going to be the way he is when he created him. And that's my point. So that's what That's the whole thing. And it's a very clear road. Left, right. Okay. Um, he was yes. He became. There's no question that he was part of them at one point. What I'm saying is he wasn't born into that. That's what I'm saying. Okay. His father never wanted him to go to Manhattan and everything else. Okay. So look, I'm not saying um that Trump is a saint. That's not what I'm saying. David's not a saint. Think about it. Paul is not a saint. We do not judge, right? It is a test. We do not judge. So I'm saying what Trump is now, he's not the same man as he was back then. That's all I'm saying. I think that Trump had fantastic intentions. I think he really wanted to change the world. I think that and if I think that a lot of things that I think he should have gone on the the barrel, as it said, and told people, look, this is the way it is. This was what's really going to really hurt the planet and us. We must do this now. He didn't do it. Didn't do it. So the reality is, I did speak about judging. Don't the only person who could throw that stone at that woman was Jesus. And what did he say? He said, "Those who are without sin cast the first stone." The only man who could do that was him. And what did he do? He didn't do that. Instead, he showed mercy. Um, Nobody comes before God. Period. I've said this a million times. And guess what? I'm quoting God. Okay? You read in Exodus, it's pretty clear what God says. It's not it's not a maybe, it's not an if, it's not a maybe, not some days, on some days, no. Okay? No, it's very clear. It's really clear. You shall have no other gods before me. Not okay. And this is written in his own hand, guys. No interpretation, nothing. This is okay. Ooh. Okay. And this is the thing I think of. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. Yeah, I don't even want to go there. Okay. No. Jesus, the Son of God, taught us how to pray to his heavenly Father in heaven. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I'm going to tell you something, people. Any of these idiots, preachers, anybody doing anything and saying that there are rules, that this is rules for God, run. Run from that church. Run as fast as you can. Okay? These are rules for us. Man, not God. God God is everything. God can do whatever he wants to do. Who am I? Who am I to even go? I'm not even going to go there thinking, no, then that means that God can do anything. Yes. So if God wants to appear before me right now, he can do anything. He can, yeah. Okay. He can, yeah, anything. And what I believe, God cured me because he can do anything. He went against what those doctors said. Oh, you're going to die in 2 years, but you get that aneurysm. It's going to go up. Yeah, if you don't have that operator on, you're going to die. No, it's not going to be. No, you're going to die. Yeah. Yeah, 70% chance you have another stroke, but you know what? You're going to die. I'm like, I'm not going to do this to my wife and everything else. God, please. I'm not going to do this. So what did he do? He cured me. He cured my blindness. I asked him humbly. He did it. Okay. Didn't have to do it. That was his will. He did it. Okay. His will was to create this magnificent dog for me and put us together. I never in my life thought I'd have a dog like that again. He did it. Him. It's all God's fault. God, it's God's responsible for everything in my life, everything, and people don't understand that. God can do anything he wants because he's God. Who the heck? An ant has more. No, no. I won't even go there. I'm I'm here. Every breath I take is by your grace. That's the truth. Okay, and that's what you need to say, and that's what you need to come from. Because if you come from that, you understand that this place is a test, that this book here, and as was thrown back to the devil many times by our Savior, Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of God. What did he say? He didn't talk to, no, he quoted scripture. He quoted scripture. He said, it is written. That's what he said. Okay. That's what he said. No. I thank the Lord. I don't thank him enough. I don't thank him enough. At any rate, I want you guys to have a very safe, and you'll find out why I'm saying this, a safe weekend. Look up the passages that that our brother Rick here was recommending. Read that scripture. That'd be very good to read. But may the Lord bless you, keep you safe. May he walk with you. Jesus bless everybody that was here. And just be safe this weekend. God bless.